awuzazi nabo ufuna ukuguqa nabo ufuna ukuthini kodwa nje you can't just sit still and be like and I'm like ingathi uyaxhuzula lapha. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Most of all, welcome me back to the channel because I know it's been a hot minute. It's been almost a month since I've uploaded a video, and as I mentioned to you before I left that I was going on maternity leave, so I just needed time to rest, to look after my baby, and just, you know, to get things figured out. Not that I have everything figured out right now, but I've been receiving so many DMs on when are you coming back on YouTube, please upload a video and all of that. And thank you so much to everyone who's reached out. I know you guys have been waiting, so I thought I should finally get back into it, although it's so difficult managing time, taking care of the baby. I'm hardly even on my phone as it is. As soon as like maybe I'm scrolling on Instagram, she just cries and then I have to put my phone down. So it's just been a lot to try and balance work with motherhood and just life in general. I feel like I don't even have time for myself, so today I thought like I need to make sure that I make time. So yeah, welcome to the channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Pilela, aka Mrs. Mom. This is my channel. I create makeup videos here and there, fashion styling videos, which are gonna come back a lot now that I'm no longer pregnant and I can finally style myself properly, and recently venturing into motherhood. So there is also going to be some content coming up on everything motherhood, baby, and all of that, but I'm not going to bombard you with that, you know. But yeah, welcome to my channel. I hope that you're subscribed. Thumbs up this video, let me know if you're a new subby, and leave me a heart emoji down below. Also make sure that you check out my socials. I'm at Pileleji on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok, although I'm not really active on TikTok, but yeah, I'm trying to get it figured out. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so disclaimer first, my nails haven't been done in 6 weeks. I done my nails I think the day before or 2 days before I went into labor, and thereafter I mentioned that I was going home, so I've been home. I came back 2 days ago. Haven't had time to go to the nail salon. They look so ghetto, so don't come for me. And today's my birthday. So I'm turning 26. I feel so old. Oh my god, I'm turning 26. Yeah, that's that on that. I don't have much to say. Today's the 23rd of March when I'm recording this video. So what I want to do is I want to talk you through what happened in the vlog, because there are a lot of clips here and there, and I just want to explain the process, how I was feeling, what happened, just give you all the details. So firstly, I gave birth on the 12th of February 2021. My gynae had said that my due date was on the 14th of February, so the baby came 2 days early, which I was absolutely happy about. I didn't want to be pregnant for any minute longer than necessary. I gave birth at Mulmed Mediclinic, which is in Pretoria. Also, the baby is sleeping now, if my voice sounds really soft, but I'm not a really loud person at all. But yeah, she's sleeping. So yeah, she was born at 11:15 in the morning. Yes. So yeah, tomorrow we're going for our 6 weeks check. So baby's going, I'm going, the whole thing. So yeah, so let me explain what happened on the day. So on the week that I was scheduled to give birth, I was on a mission. I was just like, we're gonna do everything to make sure that we induce labor. So there are several things that you can do to get your labor started, because I really do want to be pregnant for like more than necessary. So things like getting a massage, eating spicy food, having sex, and a few other things. But I just made sure that I was doing everything because I was just like, this baby needs to come, this baby needs to come. I was so tired, I was so exhausted, I was so swollen. If you could look back at my last video, my face was like this big, like I didn't even want to look at myself because I just didn't even recognize myself. My whole body was swollen, my feet were so swollen. And I would say the last 3 months of my pregnancy, I wore 2 pairs of shoes, which were basically sandals. As a result, my feet got really hard. Like I still need to go to the spa and get that situated. TMI. But yeah, because no shoes would fit me. I was so swollen everywhere. I had so much water retention. But yeah, that's besides the point. So one of the things that I was experiencing getting closer and closer to labor was that I would get contractions, which are basically like period pain cramps. I was getting that, I would say, from a month before I gave birth. So they would come and go. So I knew I got Braxton Hicks, yes, that's what it's called. So I was getting that, and usually what I would do to calm my stomach, because it would get really tense, and my back, is that I would have a hot bath. That always calmed me down so much because your body gets so tired all the time. So yeah, so on the night before I gave birth, oh, so as I was saying, during the week that I was scheduled to give birth, because I was scheduled to give birth on a Sunday, so that whole week I was just like, we're on a mission, you know. Of course I was scared of labor. I've always been scared of labor, but I was like, it's no use getting scared, you need to do this. I was like, you need to make sure that this baby comes, do the most, do everything. So on the night before, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I was like, come on, let's do the deed. I wasn't in the mood for it, but I was like, we are inducing this labor, you know. And immediately afterwards I had very like intense cramps, like, you know, when you get period pains. I got those, and I was like, I'm just gonna take a bath and try to relax, and it's gonna go away. But it was quite intense, you know. I took a bath and then I went to bed, but they weren't going away, you know. They were just getting more and more intense. So I was like, maybe it's the contractions, you know, but I wasn't sure. But they were getting more intense and I couldn't sleep. So I got up at 3 a.m. because my mom always told me, she's like, if you go into labor, bath before you go to the hospital. So I was like, okay, let me take a bath, maybe I'll feel better afterwards. This is 3 a.m. in the morning. I ran myself a bath. Babe gets up, he's like, are you fine? I'm like, no, I'm not fine. Do I look fine to you? That time, like, I'm so I was like, oh my goodness, pregnancy. So I take a bath. It, like, the cramps are getting intense. At this point I realized that I'm in labor, because they're not getting any better, they're getting worse. But with the thing with labor pains or cramps, whatever, contractions, is that the intensity is for like maybe 5 seconds. It's like 5 seconds of intensity, and then afterwards they go away like nothing ever happened. So it's quite easy for you to doubt yourself and be like, oh, maybe I'm making this up, whatever. But they were getting intense. So I took a bath and I realized that I was getting the cramps because it was difficult for me to stand. Like, you know, when you get out of the bath and you pull yourself up, that was hard. Moisturizing my body, just tasks that should be easy were quite challenging. Then I realized that I was in labor. So I take a bath, I come back, I moisturize myself because I don't want to be ashy. Also, when you're in labor, you shouldn't panic, you know. The baby's not going to come immediately, so take your time when you're doing these things, because also you don't want to be at the hospital already. Moisturize myself, I get my bag ready, I transfer my stuff from my other suitcase to the other suitcase that I was going to take to the hospital, for which, if you haven't checked out what I packed in my hospital bag, check it out. I'll link it somewhere here. So yeah, I pack my bag. The lights are on at this point. He's like, are you fine? I'm like, no bro, I'm in labor. You need to call the... He's like, should I call the hospital? He's like, should I call the doctor? No, he said, should I call the hospital? I'm like, no, call the doctor. Because the doctor's usually the one who tells you, no, you need to relax. Maybe it's false cramps or something, false labor. There's something called that or whatever. So he calls the doctor. The guy, the one that I said I didn't like. He calls the doctor. The doctor's like, go to the hospital. So then like, okay, I'm packing my bags. I'm trying to get myself ready, putting on my comfy clothes. I'm trying to think, what am I gonna wear when I leave the hospital? Because I didn't get a chance to go shopping for like a cute post-hospital outfit type of thing. I put on my wig because my hair was hella crusty. You're gonna see in the video, like the frats is straight. I put on my wig and I'm just basically trying to like be as calm as possible. The cramps hurt. I told Bear, I was like, we both can't panic, you know, we need to get to the hospital safe. So when I'm in labor, you just need to calm down. The baby's not gonna fall out of my birth canal immediately, you know. I prepped him to be calm because I don't think he's a calm person in those types of situations. So anyway, I pack my stuff. We get all the important documents because I double checked and triple checked everything, and we drag the suitcase. We get out. At this point it's still curfew, so you're not allowed to be outside. I think it was around 4, 4:30. It's still curfew, but we are driving. So we go to the hospital, calm drive, no speeding, of which I think you should see a clip of that. And then we get to the hospital. Also, I hadn't done my COVID test, which was a big thing. So we get to the hospital, it's still dark, park, and then they let us in. They're like, why are you here? I'm like, I'm in labor. Because I was literally like, you know, you wouldn't tell that I was in labor. And then they direct us to the labor ward. They drop us there, and the security guy, that's what I'm saying. We get to the labor thing, and then the nurses usher me to my room, and the lady says, okay, we need you to bath. They give me the soap. It's like an antiseptic soap, and I'm like, I just had a bath. They're like, yeah, but we can't touch you before you bath, you know. So I was like, okay. And then they're like, okay, you also have to say goodbye to him because you haven't done your COVID test. You'll only be allowed in, that's Bay, you'll only be allowed in after your COVID results have come back. So I was like, okay, I expected that, and I was brave. I was like, okay, I didn't cry or anything. I was like, okay, that's fine. But I was like, when will that be? They're like, after 7 hours. So he would only be allowed back like midday at around 3 or 4 o'clock, of which it was 4:30 to 5 in the morning then. So I'm like, okay. And then we say goodbye, and then he's trying to get the whole paperwork sorted and everything, of which I'm gonna do a whole separate story time of why we had to pay for my birth, because the medical aid wouldn't cover it. We had so many issues with the medical aid, so we had to pay for my birth, of which there's like about 30,000 rand, and the medical aid had only told us 2 weeks prior that they're not gonna cover my birth. Oh my god, she's up. Please hold on. So I'm gonna try and make this quick because she might get up again. So I was saying I'm gonna do a whole separate story time on the whole medical aid drama. Anyway, so he leaves. He's trying to get the whole thing situation with the admin and everything, because the hospital was still closed at that time. Like the staff wasn't in. So he's at the reception, waiting for the people who work at the reception to arrive. So I take a shower with the soap, and then I lay on the bed, and then the nurse is like, okay, I'll have to check you, like. And prior to that, I hadn't had any check up down there. So I was like, oh god, this is gonna be so awkward. So she's like, lay on the bed. And so I get on the bed. At this point my work is off, like I'm in so much pain, and it's just it's getting intense by the minute, you know. So I'm on the bed, she checks me, she's like, and when she checks me, she uses a glove, obviously. She's like, try to relax. Firstly, the nurses at that hospital were amazing. Like, they gave me such a good experience. I was so happy with how the treatment of the staff is and everything. Anyway, so she checks me, and she uses a glove when, you know, and when she takes out her hand, there's blood, like it's bloody, you know. If you don't want to know any more details, just log that off this video, because it's gonna be very candid. Yes. So then she's like, okay, you're 3 centimeters dilated. So that confirmed my theory that I was in labor. And then I'm like, okay, I want an epidural. Like, said that first thing. I've always said that I wanted an epidural. I'm not trying to be a soldier and be like, I'm so strong, whatever. And then the nurse was like, don't get an epidural, because an epidural slows down your contractions, and if you get an epidural, I'll come back for my shift later this evening and you'll still be in labor, you know. So don't get an epidural, you can do this. However, what we do recommend is it's another injection, I forgot what it's called, but it's supposed to like help speed up labor, or it makes you really sleepy. What is it called? Oh my god, I forgot what it's called, but I'll write it down here if I remember. So I'm like, okay, but they're just like, but I'll tell the doctor when he arrives. So I'm like, okay. So now you literally have the waiting game. At this point in time, I'm there alone because Bae wasn't allowed in. I'm literally sitting there alone in the room waiting. The contractions are getting intense and intense. I'm in so much pain, like yeah, you don't know what to do, you know. When they come, you're like, you know what I was describing it, you know, Rebecca Malob in her music videos, how she's always kneeling and she's on the floor and she's just crawling in all her music videos. That's what I was doing. I was as you can't just sit still and be like no, it's like it was so painful, you guys. Your contractions, they had me. And the thing that makes them worse is that they get intense by the minute. It's not like they're getting better, it's not like they're going away. It's just you can't do anything about them, they're just there. Anyway, getting off topic. So I'm waiting, busy calling Bam, telling him, okay, this is what's happening, this is, and then he's updating me on what's happening on the admin, whatever. So the doctor eventually comes, I would say like 4 hours later or whatever. He's like, hi, how are you feeling? Remember, this is the same doctor I said I don't like, but at this point I'm just like, it is what it is. It's like, how are you feeling? The nurses told me that you want an injection. Oh yes, the name of the injection that they recommend, it's called a sedative. Yes. I'm like, yes, I want an epidural. He's like, oh, okay. Then he explains to me why you shouldn't get the epidural. He's like, most people usually complain about the epidural like way after they've given birth, you know, like they say that their back hurts or whatever. It's like, also it slows your labor down. I would recommend that you get a sedative. So I think it's the culture of the hospital that they don't like to give the epidural. In that hospital they don't encourage it. So it's like, so rather get a sedative. So I was like, oh, okay, if you recommend it. Also an epidural is like 7,000 rand, FYI. But I was like, I don't care, I want it. But anyway, I end up not getting the epidural and I get the sedative. So the lady comes, she injects me. that thing makes me sleepy. Like I want to sleep. My eyes are like, I was so sleepy. She's still up, but it's like you can't sleep when you're in pain, you know. I'm listening if she's crying or what, but she's sleeping anyway. So I get the sedative, and the thing that aggravates me afterwards is that they give you the monitor, so to monitor your heartbeat as well as the baby's heartbeat to see if the baby's not in distress. So if you're in distress, then the baby's in distress, for which thereafter they will take you to do a C-section if they see that the child is in stress, you know. So they plug the thing in your stomach, like all around your stomach, and it's like tight so they can listen to the baby's heartbeat, and you also have your own here. So with that, you have to sleep on one side. You can't. Okay, so Paris is here. Okay, so please don't mind me. This is the reality now. She just woke up from her nap. So as I was saying, I hope this is not distracting, but yeah. So I take the sedative. Oh, they're monitoring the baby's heartbeat and my heartbeat. So at this point, you have to lie in one position, of which you are very uncomfortable. And they also said that expect the bloody show, of which that's just when like a gush of blood just comes out. It's called the bloody show. Again, I'm sorry if this is TMI, but it's facts. So you're just you're not nice, you know, you're not feeling good or anything. So now I'm sitting there, I'm in so much pain. I cannot move because when the contractions come, it's like you can't sit still. It's impossible, you know, because there's so much pain going on. But now it's like if I move, then they're gonna think that something is wrong, and then they're gonna want to push for a C-section, of which I had been warned so much by my friends to make sure that I don't get a C-section, you know, because sometimes doctors and hospitals can push you to do a C-section when you don't really need it because they want the money, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to be brave. Anyway, so I'm there for observation. The nurses come and go. I'm getting blood work done. I'm plugged up, you know. So I'm trying to record some parts, but I'm just getting weaker and weaker, you know. I'm just not feeling good at all. And then eventually the nurses say that they're gonna move me from the room that I'm in to the birthing room. So there's two separate rooms that you go to, of which the room that I was in, I was using it alone because my COVID test hadn't come back, of which later I was transferred to another room with another lady who was also a patient of the same doctor that I was seeing. So there's usually two of you in the room, but I was happy being in the room alone, you know. But I was in the room alone because my COVID test wasn't cleared yet. Anyway, so they moved me to the birthing room because things are getting more and more intense. Konzima, koshobile, like yo. On a scale of 10, it's a 10. Like I can't even walk. I'm weak. I'm trying to eat because they tell you that you should eat something so that you have your strength, you know. You need to be strong for labor, as they say. It's called labor for a reason. I'm trying to eat, and as soon as I eat, the cramps come in stronger than ever. So they moved me to that room. I can't even walk at this point because the contractions are so strong. So I'm in there, I'm in the room, in the labor room, and this, like, the serious birth contractions begin. And when I describe to you, it's like because my mom was asking me how was it like, and I'm like, and she's like, was it like, I'm like, no. Basically I was saying that Labor is like when you have what is it called, feet. Man, don't like English. I forgot, but it's like when your body's spasming out of control. It's like a seizure. Yes, I was describing to her that, but it's like a seizure in a way, because you have absolutely no control over what's happening. You're aware of what is happening in your body, but you can't control how your body is reacting, you know. So it's like the only thing you can do is just wait it out, and it's the most uncomfortable process ever. So yeah, so now I'm in the birthing room. Shit's getting serious. Oh, before that, my water wouldn't break. My water hadn't broken, so the nurse was gonna manually rupture, as they call it, to rupture your membrane, which is basically the breaking of the water so that your contractions can get speed up. So she would do it manually, and it was honestly such a sophisticated process. I thought it would be like a weird thing, but at this point, like, your legs are in the air, you're just used to it. Oh, that's awkward. You're used to it. The nurses are coming and going. Your business is outside. Wow. So she ruptures my membrane, of which it's like, you know, when you put water in a plastic container and you close it, and then you just pop it and then the water just goes out. That's how it felt. So I was like, oh, that's a little bit. She's like, no, don't worry, more will still come. So after she ruptures my water, I'm literally just sitting there in the birthing room, again waiting for the contractions. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, so I left my food in the other room, which is like next door type of thing. So I'm like, okay, let me go there and eat first. So I take a 10-minute walk to something that's supposed to take 10 seconds. I get to the room, I'm eating, and then my real water breaks. It's not a little bit, it's like a gush of like, it's like when you're spilling water from a 5-liter container. Yes. And at this point I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? And I'm trying to stop it, like I'm trying to hold it in. You can't hold it in, because I'm like, oh my god, I'm creating a mess. I was just very self-conscious of the whole process. I'm like, oh my god. So the nurse comes, I'm screaming for the nurse. I'm like, nurse, I don't even have energy. I'm like, nurse. And then she comes. I'm like, oh, I think my water just broke. I'm so sorry. Like, I was so apologetic that day, because labor is very messy, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm creating a mess. She's like, no, it's fine. So my water breaks, and then the real contractions come, and so she's like, okay, go back to the other room. I'm like, I can't walk. She's like, okay, I'll help you. I'm holding this nurse, of which you're not supposed to hold or touch the nurses because of COVID rules, but at this point I'm literally leaning on her because I can't just walk off alone. So that happens. We take a slow walk to the birthing room because I was busy in and out. And my contractions are getting worse and worse. At this point my body's spasming. I don't even know what to do. So I ask my nurse to call the doctor, because I'm like, she farted, not me. So I'm like, I asked the nurse to call the doctor, because at this point I'm like, this baby's coming out, I can feel it. And then she's like, okay. And when these contractions happen, it's like your body's pushing the baby, you are not pushing the baby. So she's like, don't push, and excuse me, and it's like the baby's getting pushed out, you know. Anyway, like guys, it was so intense. Like I said, it's like when you're having a seizure and you can't do anything about it. Anyway, the doctor eventually comes back, and then he's like, don't push. It's like impossible, like Hashem. And then he tells me what to do, like which position to be in and what to do, whatever. So he's like, push when the contractions come, and he's instructing me and everything. Anyway, the contractions are the worst. I don't know how many times I can say this, but anyway, I pushed for 15 minutes because I was watching the clock. I wanted to see how long the actual active labor is going to take. I pushed from 11 o'clock until 11:15, and the baby arrived. Babe was not there. It was just me, the doctor, and the nurse. And then after she was born, they took her, they cut the umbilical cord. They didn't give me the baby immediately like how everyone else's process is. Mom is calling me. Hello, Mama.
Yeah.
Hi. I was on the phone with my mom. My eyes are starting to water. Okay, so let's wrap this up. I feel like I've been talking. So anyway, where was I? We push, baby arrives. Oh, I was saying they didn't give her to me immediately, like how everyone's like, push, and then they're like, here's your baby. No, I pushed, they cut the umbilical cord, they took the baby. She wasn't crying, and then the nurse like hit her to wake her up, and then she cried for like 5 seconds, and then she kept quiet again. They cleaned her, they put her on the bed with the light to keep her warm, and then the doctor was busy with me like stitching me and everything. So the baby's bed is like here, so the whole time I'm looking like, oh my gosh, she's here, oh my gosh, she's here. And then the pediatrician comes to check that she's fine, everything's fine. This time my legs are still in the air, and I'm getting my stitches. I'm very uncomfortable at this point, and yeah, that whole thing gets done. And then I would say I got her only like maybe 10 to 15 minutes later after I gave birth. I wasn't given, they didn't give her to me like skin to skin contact, so I'm still wearing that green thing that they give you at the hospital. You guys, this is so distracting. I know, I'm so sorry, but we need to get this done. So they eventually give her to me. I sent my mom the video because my mom had been trying to call me, and then I sent her the video, and then she calls me back immediately. She's like, oh, I'm done now. And then she wanted to cry. She's like, oh, I'm done now. She was like, you're so brave, blah 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 blah, you know. And then so I'm sitting there, I'm tired, like I'm done, I'm out. And so the nurse is like, okay, let's get you removed from this room, which is the birthing room, to where you were, which is like the normal room that I was in, so that you can shower, get cleaned, and you know, the baby can get washed and dressed, and you can rest, you know. So I'm like, okay, but now it's hard to walk, you know, it's hard. But anyway, I move, I get there, I bath. The nurses bath the baby, they come for the baby's clothes, and after I bathed, I felt so much better. But like the stitches, oh my god, girl, hey, I would say the most painful thing about labor is the pre-contractions and the stitches. The labor is painful, but it's like limited time, you know what I'm saying, you know it's gonna be over. And then the stitches hurt a lot, but yeah. And then I tried to sleep, and then they brought the baby to me. I tried to breastfeed her, but that didn't work out because I didn't have any milk. At this point, the nurses are like in your business, like when they're squeezing the milk. There's no privacy, you know what I'm saying? But the milk wasn't coming out. So I tried to breastfeed, but it just wasn't working out. So the nurse was like, the more you try, the more the milk will be activated. But I kept on trying, it wasn't working out. So I was like, please just give her formula because she's getting really hungry and whatever. She wasn't crying at all then. She was really good. She was just so sleepy. She was so sleepy, so she was sleeping the whole day. And then baby eventually comes back. I was like, bring me food, I'm hungry. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, I want everything that you can think about. So he brought me food. He saw the baby for the first time, which is the clip that you saw. And yeah, that was that. Overall, I'm so glad that I've given birth. It was quite an experience. I would say if you're pregnant right now and you are gonna give birth and you're scared, just be brave, you know, trust your body. It sounds so cheesy when people say this, but as a woman, you are made for this. You can do it. I feel like find inner strength from yourself, draw your strength from somewhere. And then, because when I was going through labor and pushing, my eyes were closed the whole time. I was like, you know. And a friend of mine had sent me a voice note a few days prior to wish me luck and just everything. She said, I want you to know that there are people on this earth who are praying for you, who are with you, who wish you the very best. And in the next life, as your ancestors, God, everyone is here rooting for you. And the whole time when I was in labor, that's what I was thinking, that my ancestors are with me, my parents are with me, all the prayers, everything is with me, you know. That's where I drew my strength from. So I would say find something to draw your strength from and just know that you can do this. I was so grateful that there were no complications with me or the baby. Everything just went fine. Also, after I gave birth, because I had been watching The Handmaid's Tale, when the baby came out, I wanted to say, praise be, blessed be the fruit. If you watch The Handmaid's Tale, leave me one of their phrases down below so that I know that you know what I'm talking about. But I was literally like, thank God, thank God. I was like, praise be, blessed be the fruit. But anyway, that's how everything went on. I feel like I've been talking for so long. I'm sorry that this video is gonna be extra long. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Again, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and again, check me out on my socials. And yeah, just leave me any comment if you have. And yeah, I'll show you baby Paris now because she's busy feeding. Oh, and her full name is Isisa Paris Nikise. She's still sleeping though. She's on bed because I'm waking her up. Yes, she is. I actually didn't want to show her. Oh, God bless you. I don't want to show her. Girl, your breath. I don't want to show her until like much later on. She was so cute. I was like, I have the most perfect baby. And I honestly tried to hold myself from posting her, but like I couldn't help it. But anyway, Here she is. But right now she has a rash. But tomorrow we're going to the doctor, so hopefully he'll prescribe something for her. She was born with a full head of hair. I was like, you go girl. But yeah, she was 2.85 Ks. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.